Alright. So, today, after my 5 year videos, today I was thinking that we should move on to the next stage, which is to create a goal tracker. Basically, like as we created a 5 year goals, now it's basically to create a goal tracker because we have to create, kind of track them, maintain them, and basically you can say monitor in which direction we are moving. Either we are moving towards those goals or like we are completely forgetting them. So in this goal tracker, what are we gonna do is that we are gonna create year goals. Means like that 5 year goal is gonna break down into year goals, and with those year maintaining, we will be having their particular reward system. Basically, now with a particular goal of the year, we will have a reward. As the goal is completed, we will acquire the reward. After after we have broken them down into years, we will convert them into quarterly goals. Now, what is the quarterly goal? Basically, quarter system is like most of you are might be aware already. Is basically monitoring things on quarters, and like a 12-month year, which is the standard. We will be having around 4 quarters, and each quarter will have 3 months. Now, what does this quarterly concept actually means? So, I read a book, and it was 12 work week. And what does this 12 work week explain? This concept basically is that we are gonna break down our year into 12 equal years, you can say. Okay? And now that either we understand it in this manner, the much simpler form will be we break down basically a quarter is having 12 weeks, and each week is considered as a year, as a month. And when that month or that particular week is completed, then we will move to the next month, then the other one, then the other one, until we complete our 12 weeks. Those 12 weeks are the 12 month of the year. Okay? Now basically what happens is we have converted a year into a quarter. Means 3 month duration is equivalent to a year. So like initially if we thought that we are gonna complete a goal, it is a goal, and we are gonna complete this goal in the duration of a year. Now we are gonna consider this goal to be completed in the duration of 3 months in a quarter, which is basically 12 work week year. Okay, so that would be much you can say determining the goals in a much simpler form, as well as also maintaining them into drastically and well organized. And I've worked on this pastly, so it is a very useful thing as well. And beside this, we are also going to work on a concept which is 2080 rule. Now, what does this 2080 rule means? So basically, we are going to work on 20% of the things that are going to bring 80% of the results. Now, basically, if we are working on 80% of the things, but those 80% doesn't really, you can say, acquire or really achieve those 80% of the results, then we are on a big loss. So, what does this 2080 rule means is determining those, like out of, you can say, 10 things in a list. Out of 10 things in a list, what we are going to do is we are going to determine which of the two things are the most highly impactful towards our goals, towards our 5 year goals, towards our life, that are gonna bring 80% of the results. Like by just doing these two small tasks, we are able to achieve 80% of the progress. So the remaining 8 doesn't really matter at all, because we have already achieved 20% of the results. We are basically, you can say, near to the completion. So, like, it is a huge progress. So, that's how we are going to break down our goals into much simpler, much specific, and much monitorable, you can say, task, you can say, a project. See? So, like, let's jump into the video.
So, as we can see that here are our 5-year goals, and beside those 5-year goals, I've written down a goal tracker. Now, what really happens is that these 5 goals are basically broken down into a goal tracker, and as that goal tracker, as this goal tracker is further, you can say, breaking down or like monitoring yearly goals as well as quarterly goals. Now, like, how come I basically introduced this concept so early? So, what will happen is that as the yearly goals are driven from 5-year goals, those yearly goals are then calculated based on the rule of 2080. And now, like, what is the 2080 rule? If we see here 20/80 rule, it says that states that roughly 80% of the outcomes come from just 20% of the causes. Like, it is basically a framework that we are going to use. You can search it as on Lal. This is the book that I read. So now that by using that concept, we will be able to break down our goals into, like, you can say, much prioritized form, and those yearly goals will have their own specific reward system as well. Then those yearly goals are breaking down into quarterly system. Now, like, what are the quarterly goals? Basically, that is based on another system which I love to use, is 12-year work week. Now, if we search here 12-year work week, so basically this is the way famous concept. And basically, it says that instead of setting yearly goals that get delayed, you treat every 12 week as an entire year, creating a sense of urgency that focuses on consistent daily and weekly actions. Now, by the use of that, they will be able to basically determine our quarterly goals, and those quarterly goals will have their own specific quarterly reward system. So now let's start working on our quarterly goals. And here in this screen, here are 5-year goals that we worked in the video before this one. So now we will be creating a database in line, and how about we name this database as goal tracker, and we name it yearly goal tracker. Okay, and what we are going to do is, let me adjust this full width so that I have the access to the much wider area. I had a name. Basically, this name property belongs to the name of goal. Then we will have a property of select, this select property will be quarterly goals. Okay, so like here, for example, I'm gonna write learning swimming, because as we have a 5-year goal of Ironman, we should learn how to swim properly. So in a year we are gonna learn it, and basically this year goal belongs to you can say Q1. It becomes quarter 1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Okay, now like we have created the properties as well. Now what is gonna happen? We are gonna create where's the date? Yeah, here's the date. We are gonna create due date system. Okay, how about I delete this and have a much more, you can say, a greater idea, and that will be using some templates. Because like if I'm building an entire system over here, it's gonna create a lot of duration. I'm gonna remove the team system because basically I'm the only one who's working on it, so we don't really require that. And by status, by goals, and all goals, yeah, keep that as well. Okay, so now we have a much simpler, much pretty creative system. But there's one thing, we have created the goal tracker, and here all goals are basically broken down into quarters. But like, where is that yearly concept? Where does that go? So what we are going to do is we are going to come here, we are going to group them, and we are going to group them by there is properties. Wait a second, edit properties, create a new property. We are going to name it, it will be, you can say, on date with, how about, or like, we can do another thing is we can use the property of select and year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4. Okay, we're gonna color code them according to my preferences. You can do it according to yours. It is not something that only a person can select. It is everyone's, you can say, choice. And now we are gonna group them according to the select property, and here are all the, wait a second, here are our all of the goals. Okay, and we are gonna we have to name it yearly goals. Sometimes I happen to write so fast that I often mistype it, because I don't know why, but I'm also in that kind of a hurry. So like, where does that go? So yo man, where is my property? Hello, where did my property went? Show group, show group, show group, and show group. Okay, wait a second. They all are hidden, but why they are hidden? Like why they are not really showing up. Okay, that was some kind of glitch. Sorry, I was missed watching it. So now we have here our goals based on the division of years. And if there is a no selection, we can hide this group as well. And now we have our yearly system in the breaking down of quarters with due dates with everything else. So like it is much easier thing to do rather than a very hard thing or like very specific. And how about we just hide this property, because I believe this property can be hidden because we are already tracking it in the group system. Yeah, here that year property is hidden as well. So like now we have groups, and those groups are basically years, and we have all the data over here, and it's basis on the division of quarters. Now basically we don't really have to use the property or like filter them out. We can basically use it in this much more simpler form. We can hide these two because as they are not relevant according to this particular time zone. Here is year one. Now what we are going to do is we are going to basically brainstorm every one of these three, four, five goals into all of the possible things that are required to be done. Now, this thing is something very, you can say, complicated to do initially, because, like, personally, if I'm a type of a person who uses thousands of other kind of things in his life, he doesn't really have that much time to brainstorm ideas or things. So, what is he gonna do? Simple. We are gonna use ChatGPT, the most obvious option. And by basically, here are our five goals. We did the copy. Here's our ChatGPT, and we are gonna prompt it. So task break down these five goals into all of possible yearly goals. I'm sure that he's intelligent enough to understand this concept. So let's hope that we are going to give him some context. Basically, these are meant to be achieved in the duration of 5 years. Okay. Now you are supposed to break them down into every year goal. I don't have a format, nor I have a tone, but I have a persona. Mm, highly experienced system developer and manager of operations. Because a person who has such a high level experience in these two particular things, I assume that kind of a person is supposed to do this task. So let's see. Great. I forgot to send them the code. Those 5 years. 5 year goals. Here are my 5 year goals. Now let's see what does he do. If the 5-year goals are destination, then the yearly goals should act as a milestone, but progressively. Okay. For example, goal 1, maintain 15% body fat. Establish consistent training routine. Reach 20 to 25 body fat. Improve your nutrition discipline. Reach 20 to 22 percentage. Build lean muscle while reducing fat. Reach 18 to 20%. Sustain athletic physique. Reach 16 to 18%. And then maintain a 15% body fat consistently throughout the year. So, okay, now what does this say? To basically earn a 100k MMR, start your first year to earn at least 15 to 20k MMR consistently. Means like out of 12 months, we are supposed to earn a 20k MMR for at least a duration of 10 months. Okay, for example, buying a digital camera, the first year should be spending research on cameras and understand photography basics. That's a very clear concept. Because if you don't know what does your weapon do, how you're gonna use your weapon. I really like that concept. And then it is about build dedicated camera savings fund. Purchase entry level camera and accessories. Master photography and videography fundamentals. Upgrade setup if needed and use it roughly regularly for content creation. Okay. I'm liking the concept that like he's describing. Like for example, if we consider basically the preparation for an Ironman. In the first year he said complete a 5k run. I have done it. You can see my past videos as well. Then complete a 20 to 30 kilometer bicycle. Comfortable. I haven't done it yet. So like now I know what is the next task of my to-do list. So what we are gonna do is we are gonna use this ChatGPT tasks and we are gonna determine our goals. So we are gonna start with goal number 1 of the 5-year goals. Establish a training routine for at least 4 to 5 days per week and reach
to
25% body fat. Me having a huge body fat of like what 30%. Can you even imagine? So now we have a goal. What we can do is we can wrap the content so that all the text is visible as well. We are going to establish another goal which is to basically earn 10 to 15k MMR. I really like that goal. Now we are gonna do is research about cameras, understand photography basics, and everything. There's another idea that I just think of right now. So there is a concept. Where does that enter? More settings, sub items. Now this will be much more beneficial for us because like if there is a task, for example, earn a 20k MMR. Owner of this task is usually me. I'm gonna delete this property because this doesn't mean anything because everybody knows I'm the owner of this property and this should be started from July and the end date would be July 27. Now basically we have a whole year kind of a thing. I know. Okay, wait a second. I don't require an end date. There is already an end date. So the matrix is already set according to that. Bingo. We have exact 407 days to do this. We are gonna set a property. This is like my high task property, basically, because I'm in a urgent need. I'm gonna set it for like quarter 1. I'm known like what should be the end value. End value should be 20, and start value is like rupees. So like here is everything working. Then there is another date which I think can be deleted without really disturbing. Yeah, it is. Now, if we want, we can remove this quarter system, because if we click on here and have a sub item, like for example, earn 5k per month, it can be maintained differently. Like another subtask, earn 20k, and it can be done in the quarter 4. So now we are able to create a goal tracker with yearly goals, with quarter goals, and their monitoring. Now there are two things left. Two things, sorry. The first one is to create a yearly reward system, and the second one is to create a quarterly reward system. Now, what we are going to do is, under this 5-year goals, and from this we are going to create a table. Yeah, this table will determine our 5 sorry 5-year goals reward. We are going to drag that because it can be dragged easily. Then we are having yearly reward system. We can drag that down as well. Now we have a quarterly reward system. We can increase the table. Now we are going to have monthly reward system. We can extend it, another column. We can extend that as well. This is gonna be like weekly reward system. And then comes our solo survivor. The only system that is left is daily rewards, because these rewards are crucial. Now, why do I have so much in-depth reward system? I'm a big follower of this concept that if you are doing a task for continuously a period of days or weeks, suddenly something's gonna happen. Since we have been doing this since a long time without really admiring our life, a sudden pressure is gonna come that basically push it down. Now, what does this pressure is? Basically, it is those desires that we have ignored for a longer period of time. Now they are blown out in a form of depression, in form of burnouts, in fatigue. It could be anything. Now that if you have a reward system, you are not gonna use those rewards for the entire day or time. You have adjusted a particular time, a particular location, or some particular things. Now what you are gonna do is, when our list of tasks are being done, and when they are done in that particular manner according to those particular management, then only you can attain the reward. Otherwise it will be lost, and we are going to move on to the another week, another week, and that's how the cycles keep going. Okay, so now we have much clearer paths to work on. I'm not going to waste a lot of your times over here creating just simple details. I've told you the whole method. Now I'm going to wait and watch what you guys are going to come with. And I'm sure there's something interesting going to happen out there, because it is life and we all are humans after all. Thank you, man. See you in the.
Thank you.
It was a great pleasure to have you all on the boat.